हेलो माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, कैसे हैं आप लोग। उम्मीद करती हूँ आप सब अच्छे होंगे। चैप्टर नंबर 14, 100% प्योर जर्मन स्वेट फ्रॉम द बुक थीफ रिटन बाय मार्कस यूजैक। People lined the streets as the youth of Germany marched towards the town hall and the square. On quite a few occasions, Liesel forgot about her mother and any other problem of which she currently held ownership. There was a swell in her chest as the people clapped them on. Some gave ways to their parents, but only briefly. It was an explicit instruction that they march straight and don't look or wave to the crowd. When Video's group came into the square and was instructed to halt, there was a discrepancy. Tommy Muller, the rest of the regiment, stopped marching and Tommy plugged directly into the boy in front of him. Dummkopf, the boy spat. Before turning round, I am sorry, said Tommy, arms held apologetically. His face tripped over itself. It couldn't hear. It was only a small moment, but it was also a preview of troubles to come for Tommy or for Rudy. At the end of the marching, the Hitler Youth divisions were allowed to disperse. It would have been near impossible to keep them all together at the bonfire burned in their eyes and excited them. Together they cried one united Hail Hitler and were free to wander. Liesel looked for Rudy, but once the crowd of children scattered, she was caught amongst a mess of uniforms and high-pitched words, kids calling out to other kids. For 34, for 44 by 4:30, the air had cooled considerably. People joked that they needed warming up. That's all this rubbish is good for anyway. Trolleys were used to wheel it all in. It was dumped in the middle of the town square and doused with something sweet. Books and paper and other material would slide or tumble down, only to be thrown back into the pile. For further away, it looked like something volcanic or something grotesque and alien that had somehow landed miraculously in the middle of the town and needed to be snuffed out and fast. The applied smell leaned towards the crowd, who were kept at a good distance. There were well in excess of 1,000 people on the ground, on the town hall steps, on the rooftops that surround the square. When Liesel tried to make her way through, a crackling sound prompted her to think that the fire had already begun. It hadn't. The noise was kinetic humans flowing, charging up. They have started without me. Although something inside told her that this was a crime after all. Her 3 books were the most precious item she owned. She was compelled to see the thing lit. She couldn't help it. I guess humans like to watch a little destruction. Sandcastle, houses of cards, that's where they begin. Their great skill is their capacity to escalate. The thought of missing it was eased when she found a gap in the bodies was unable to see the mound of guilt still intact. It was prodded and splashed, even spat on. It reminded her of an unpopular child, forlorn and bewildered, powerless to alter its fate. No one liked it. Head down, hands in pockets forever. Amen. Bits and pieces continued falling to his sides as Liesel hunted for Rudy. Where is that circle? When she looked up, the sky was scorching. A horizon of Nazi flags and uniforms rose upwards, crippling her view every time she attempted to see over a smaller child's head. It was pointless. The crowd was itself. There was no swaying it, squeezing through, or reasoning it with it. You breathed with it and you sang its song. You waited for its fire. Silence was requested by a man on a podium. His uniform was a shiny brown. The iron was practically still on it. The silence began. His first was Hail Hitler. His first action, the salute to the Führer. Today is a beautiful day, he continued. Not only it is our great leader's birthday, but we also stop our enemies once again. We stop them reaching into our minds. Leisure still attempted to fight her way through. We put an end to the disease which has been spread through Germany for the last 20 years, if not more. He was performing now what is called a Scary. A consummate exhibition of passionate shouting, warning the crowd to be watchful, to be vigilant, to seek out and destroy the evil machinations, plotting to infect the motherland with its deplorable ways, the immoral, the communist. That word again, that old word, dark room, sweet wearing men, the Juden, the Jews. Halfway through the speech, Leisure surrendered. As the word communist seized her, the remainder of the Nazi recital swept by either side, lost somewhere in the German feet around her. Waterfalls of words. A girl treading water. She thought it again. Communistin. Up until now, at the BDM, they had been told that Germany was the superior race, but no one else's particular had been mentioned. Of course, everyone knew about the Jews, as they were the main offender in regard to violating the German ideal. Not once, however, had the communist been mentioned until today, regardless of the fact that people of such a political creed were also to be punished. She had to get out. In front of her, a head with a parted blonde hair and pigtails sat absolutely still on his shoulders, staring into it. Leisure revisited those dark rooms of her past and her mother answering questions made up of one word. She saw it all so clearly. Her starving mother, her missing father, communistin, her dead brother. And now we say goodbye to this rubbish, this poison. Just before Liesl Meminger pivoted with nausea to exit the crowd, the shiny brown shirted creature walked from the podium. He received a torch from an accomplice and lit the mount that drove him in all its culpability. Hail Hitler! The audience, Hail Hitler! A collection of men walked from a platform and surrounded the heap, igniting it, much to the approval of everyone. Voices climbed over shoulders, and the smell of pure German sweat struggled at first, then poured out. It rounded corner after corner till they were all swimming in it. The words, the sweat, and smiling. Let's not forget the smiling. Many jocular comments followed, as did another onslaught of Hail Hitlering. You know, it actually makes me wonder if anyone ever lost an eye or injured a hand or wrist. With all of that, you did only need to be facing the wrong way at the wrong time or stand marginally too close to another person. Perhaps people did get injured. Personally, I can only tell you that no one died from it, or at least not physically. There was of course the matter of 40 million people I picked up by the time the whole thing was finished. But that's getting all metaphoric. Allow me to return us to the fire. The orange flames waved at the crowd as paper and print dissolved inside them. Burning words were torn from their sentences. On the other side, beyond the blurry heat, it was possible to see the brown shirts and swastikas joining hands. You didn't see people, only uniforms and signs. Birds above did laps. They circled, somehow attracted to the glow, until they came too close to the heat. Or or was it the human? Certainly, the heat was nothing. In her attempt to escape, a voice found her. Leisure. It made its way through, and she recognized it. It was not Rudy, but she knew that voice. She twisted free and followed to find a face attached to it. Oh no! Ludwig Samlik. He did not, as she expected, sneer or joke or make any conversation at all. All he was able to do was pull her towards him and motion to his ankle. It had been crushed among his excitement and was bleeding dark and ominous through his socks. His face wore a helpless expression beneath his tangled blonde hair. An animal, not a deer in lights. Nothing so typical or specific. He was just an animal, hurt amongst the melee of its own kind, soon to be trampled by it. Somehow she helped him up and dragged him towards the back fresh air. They staggered to the steps at the side of the church. There was some room there, and they rested, both relieved. breath collapsed from Simil's mouth. It slipped down over his throat. He managed to speak. Sitting down, he held his ankle and found little Miminger's face. Thanks, he said to her mouth rather than her eyes. More slabs of breath, and they both watched images of schoolyards antics and a schoolyard beating. I am sorry, for Liesel heard it again. Kommunistin. So she chose, however, to focus on Ludwig Schmeichel's Sackmaker. Me too. They both concentrated on breathing then, for there was nothing more to do say. Their business had to come to an end. The blood enlarged on Ludwig's ankle. A single word leaned against the girl. To their left, flames and burning books were cheered like heroes. यहाँ पे होता है हमारा चैप्टर नंबर 14 फिनिश. हम मिलेंगे नेक्स्ट चैप्टर में, चैप्टर नंबर 15, द गेट्स ऑफ थीवरी, फ्रॉम द बुक थीव रिटन बाय मार्कस ज़्यूज़ैक. थैंक यू माय डियर फ्रेंड्स. बाय फॉर नाउ. मिलेंगे हम नेक्स्ट चैप्टर में. बाय. थैंक यू.